Good morning. Welcome back to my office on this rainy Wednesday. This video is specifically for Adam, one of our viewers who had requested that I do a video based on somebody who's 50, low income, and doesn't have any savings. Unfortunately, when I went back through all the comments and all the videos, I could not find Adam again. I really had not anticipated that these videos would get so many views and comments. But anyway, I could not. I seriously spent the last half an hour looking through everything and couldn't find it. But Adam, if you're still watching, this is your video. And again, I'm no professional, okay? I've done a lot of things. I've grown up poor, just like a lot of immigrants, right? So the only thing I really, offer you is some encouragement and some ways that we've done to save money, to live cheaply and to get ahead, right? So if I was starting out again at age 50, low income and no savings, first of all, it'd be extremely tough, okay? On the other hand, also very unfortunate that in this country we have so many people struggling to get by. Right. I live in New York City. I've lived here most of my life now, close to 40 out of 50 years. And probably half the city is struggling to, keep a roof over their heads, right? 50% of the income goes to rent or mortgage. So that's not easy. So you're not you're not alone in the struggle, right? So there are a lot of people in your shoes. So I'll give you some anecdotes on how we started, right? And how we got by, how we got ahead, how we saved money. And the biggest expense, of course, is, housing. So what we did with that was, when we first started out, it was me, my sister, and my mom, dad. The four of us stayed in a room in a basement of the restaurant, right? 10 by 10 room with 2 bunks in it, and we did that for a couple of years, saved enough money to rent one of the 2 apartments upstairs, and that was about 450 square feet, 500 square feet, very small 1-bedroom, and we lived there with relatives. Again, saved money that way, right? My in-laws too, my wife's parents, they started out renting the cheapest place they could find in the Bronx, and then went to Harlem, and then went to East Elmhurst, finally saved up enough money to buy a house in Flushing. And, at the height of their career, working multiple jobs, my in-laws never made more than $70,000, and yet they were able to pay off a house, on a 15-year mortgage, of course, Chinese 15-year mortgage. So it can be done. There are always choices that you can make. Okay, no matter what circumstances, we're all thrust into certain, circumstances in life. And some people are like, well, it's fate, or it is what it is. Bullshit. It's not what it is. You can always make a different decision. There are always options. Okay, 99.9% of the times there are options, right? I was delivering Chinese food from the age of 9 when I came to America until the age of 18, and then even after I went off to college, in between college breaks, back in a restaurant delivering Chinese food, etc. In poor neighborhoods, and the folks I deliver to, they come out with their fancy high top sneakers, right? First of all, take off your shoes in the house. That's gross. You have no idea what you stepped on the streets. You go to a public bathroom and you're stepping in piss. Come on. It's gross. Anyway, number 2, you're ordering takeout. Number 3, you had it delivered. Those 3 choices could have easily been something else, right? Even I have, in-laws, right? Low income. And after a day of work, they'll come home and they'll order Uber Eats from 3-4 blocks away. From a normal deli, 3-4 blocks away. The sandwich that you could have made at home for $1. The sandwich you could have picked up at the shop for $9. Now Uber Eats is 12, 13, 14, 15 bucks. I don't know what it is. I'm sure they charge you a premium, right? You had to work a whole hour, minimum wage, a whole hour for that sandwich. There's always choices. You know, go down a block, ask aunts and aunties and, you know, the old folks, like my mom, my in-laws, before they sold their houses, they were having trouble. They were going broke living in their houses. My mom rented a basement to one of my friends for a few years, you know. It benefited both people. Allow my mom to stay in the house a little bit longer and allow my friend to save a lot of money. Right? Go rent somebody's basement. There are people struggling to stay in their houses, right? There's always a relative who's struggling too. And you know what? Aside from offering, you know, to pay, obviously, the rent, you know, offer to shovel all the snow, to take out the garbage, to clear the leaves, to do minor maintenance around the house, right? Downtown Flushing and downtown Manhattan, I guarantee if I were to go down there, you know, I'm going to find tons of people living in bunks for $200, $300, $400 per month, right? You're sharing a room with multiple other people on bunks. Zero privacy. But if that's what I got to do to survive nowadays, you know, and to get by a little bit, that's what I'm going to do. You know, it's literally how most of my relatives got by, you know, the ones that came in with me in the 80s and 90s. This is how most of us got by, dorming and living in bunks. And it still exists. You know, those stalls that you see in Chinatown on Canal Street, and increasingly now in Flushing also, you know. And sometimes, you know, I catch myself laughing because you got like fruits, vegetables, fish, and then right next on the next stall you have socks, underwear, shoes, pants, and you know, I have to laugh sometimes and be like, who the hell's buying this stuff out here? Like, who's the hell's buying underwear out here on the streets? We did. I forget. We did. We went to Chinatown, my family, right, when I was little, and we'd buy our shoes and pants on the streets. Those shoes were $5, $10 a pair. One time, I swear to God, we got home, and my shoes, they were Velcro shoes, right? The Velcro straps on both shoes went the same way. Think about that for a second. They both went the same way. I wore them to school. Right? There are always choices. You can sign up for, you know, sign up for welfare, like the same in-laws I was talking to about ordering Uber Eats. You know, they're on welfare. They get a certain amount from the government. All right, here's another tip. Right? Open an IRA. If you're working, open an IRA. Don't just keep your money in a regular bank, in a CD or money market or something. Right? That counts when you go apply for assistance, right? But money in a individual retirement account, IRA, right? Or 401k, that does not count. Okay, so you can have 100 grand saved, right? You're 50, you can save 100,000 for your retirement and still apply for government assistance, and that IRA amount does not count. Okay, so if you're putting your money in a savings, 100,000 of it, they're going to be like, well, you're too rich. We can't help you. Right? You can go to local churches. They have food pantries. You know, I volunteered at a few of them. You know, we give out fruits, veggies, groceries, you know, milk, eggs, canned foods. You know, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. You know, don't be that guy ordering Uber Eats from 3 blocks away. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. When you're making minimum wage. And even folks working, you know, making 6-figure salaries, right? They're complaining they can't get by. Right? And I've read enough of Bigger Pockets real estate investing website to know, right? 10, 15 years of reading those forums. Plenty of people making 6 figures are like, I can't get by because my rent is $2,000 a month, or my mortgage is $3,000 a month. Who put a gun to your head and made you rent something for $2,000 by yourself? Buy a house that you can't afford. Who forced you to do that, right? There was a choice to be made before you did that. I'm not saying, Adam, that you're in that position, but, right, even on the low income scale, there are choices. Don't think that you're stuck, right? And don't think that you're alone in the struggle. There's unfortunately way too many people in your shoes, and it's sad. And and part of it ain't your fault. It ain't. I joke with my titles like, "Oh, the American dream is dead," or whatever I said. It's a lie. That's a joke. Okay, it's real, but it's tougher than ever. It's tougher than ever. It's harder to achieve the American dream nowadays than when I first started working 20-something, 30 years ago, right? Because wages simply have not kept up with inflation, have not kept up specifically with the price of housing and the price of higher education. Those two items have completely outstripped wages, and it's ridiculous. So part of it ain't your fault, but the other part of it is, you know what? Every single choice that you make, right, either takes you backwards or takes you forward. So there are some of the examples that I gave that, how we managed to get by and managed to get ahead. And you can do it if you're smart with your money, if you're frugal, if you live well below your means, okay? 60% of the population has zero saved, zero, 60%, right? If you go up to 70%, that's the next 10% of the population. They may have a few $1,000s to their name, a few $1,000s to their name. They're literally one accident, one illness away from complete bankruptcy. And that's a shame. That's a shame in this country, in the richest country in the world. But there are choices to be made. The American dream is achievable, harder than ever, but is achievable. And getting ahead, harder than ever, but you can do it. All right? Save where you can. Work. Get a second job if necessary, right? Believe it or not, at one point I had 3 jobs. Lieutenant of police, making very good money. I had my, rental gig on the side, and I was a personal trainer twice a week. For a couple of years, I was doing that. I did 3 jobs. I'm now sitting in this car, making a few bucks an hour, being a security guard, even though I have more money than I can spend in a lifetime. There's no shame in it. If I had to go collect cans, that's what I would do on my spare time. I would go collect cans like some of these mom and pops, grandma, grandpas, hunched over their, shopping carts full of cans. When I go pick up trash at the local park with my family, half the time people are like, "Oh, sir, there's a lot of cans in that garbage can over there." They think we're garbage can collectors. Thank you. All right, I'll be right there. All right, there's no shame to working as hard as you can, working any job you can get to get ahead. And there's no shame to living as cheaply as you can in order to get ahead. If that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do. And you can do it. All right, hope that helps. Take care.